How's it going, guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to open and close the eyes. There's two ways you can do this. There's the new way and the old way. So I'm just going to show you both. So let's get started with the old way. I'm going to go ahead and make the face invisible here. Just make it easier to work with. And as you can see, I got one side that has eyelids on it. This side is going to be the old way. And on the other side, there's no eyelids around this eye. This side is going to be the new way. So starting with the old way, I am going to go into my parts list here. And I'm going to try to find this upper eyelash. So right upper eyelash. And once I click on it and the texture grid comes up, I'm going to go to this pen button here. Deform path is what it's called. And I'm going to make a line by left clicking along this lash. And then what this line is going to do is make it way easier to deform this eyelid without messing it up too much. So I'm going to go back and to my pointer by clicking on the pointer button. And I am going to make sure to left click back onto right upper lash. And then I'm going to make keyframes. This time I'm going to do it manually just to show you. You could just left click on whatever part of this line you want. I'm going to make one at the beginning, one at the end. So to animate this, or to move this eyelash down, I'm going to go to this first dot here. Because this dot right here, I'm going to make it so that's when the eyes open. And this first dot here, I'm just going to make it that's when the eye is closed. So when it's all green and lit like this and we're all set to go, I'm going to go ahead and click on the blue dots of the line that we just made. I'm going to move the lash down to where the eye closed position should be. As you can see, I've got the eyeball covering the eyelash. We might as well fix it now. So I'm going to go over to eyeball on the parts list. And I'm going to select the eyeball that's in my way. And once that's selected, see this little arrow right here? I'm going to just move that down until the eyelash appears over the eyeball. So the higher the number, the closest to the front of the drawing it'll be, and the lower the number, the closest to the back of the drawing it'll be. Alright, so now that we got the eyelash down and the eyeball is not over the eyelash anymore, let's just double check that that's working. And as you can see, it is. So the reason why this line is still down here is because we didn't put keyframes for the blue line. So I'm not really too worried about it. I'm just going to leave it like that. And to get out of my way, I'm just going to make it invisible here. So let's do the same thing with the left eyelash or the bottom eyelash. So I'm just going to click on it this time, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click the pen button and just make a line along the lash. I'm going to go back to my pointer button, and I'm going to make sure that the lash is selected again. And then I'm going to add keyframes on the eye right open. Hit add to keys, click OK, and then now I'm going to put the left or the bottom eyelash into a closed position. And oops, I got a little messed up here. I'm going to undo this and try again, see what happened. Oh, it looks like, okay, it looks like I just I accidentally clicked on one of the texture dots, so it's kind of bent the image a little bit. I guess just be wary. Sorry, I'm a little bit too close, huh? Let's do that. Alright, and let's make the line invisible so we can see. That doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to keep it like that. and I might as well just keep that line invisible too. So now let's go ahead and test it, and as you can see, the eye opens and closes as you move here. Now, in order for the eye to be covered, we got to use the eyelids. So we got to do pretty much the same thing we did with the eye, except for we got to do it with the eyelids. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the eyelids here, so right upper eyelid, and I'm going to make some keyframes for that. I'm going to add 2 keys, and I'm going to try the same thing as I did on the eyelashes. Might be better just to do it manually, but I'm going to try this. So now that that's done, I'm going to go back to right upper eyelash, or eyelid, whoops. And I am going to drag my dot all the way to the closed position. So now that my lashes are in the closed position, I'm going to try to move my eyelid over to where it'll cover everything. And as you can see, my eyeball is over the eyelid. So let's go ahead and change it again. I already got my eyelid the way I want it, so I'm not really too worried about moving on. So I'm going to go to the eyeball right, and then I'm just going to drag that arrow down again so I can't see it. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to go back to editing this eyelid here. So I'm just going to go to right upper eyelid, and then it's still on the first dot here, the closed position dot. I'm just going to close that eyelid even more. There you go. That looks better. And then now I'm going to open it back up, see if it worked. As you can see, that's pretty much the old way of using extra parts to cover the eye. So I'm going to do the bottom lash now. So I'm going to go to lower lash, and I'm just going to go ahead and make some keyframes here. Do that. Then I'm going to create my line. Might be too many dots here, but we'll see. And I'm going to go back to my lower eyelid and go to the first dot. Then we're just going to move our blue line dots until they cover up the eye. Oops. There we go. Alright. So as you can see, it kind of covered it up just barely. If you really need to, like if you need to change the shape of the eyelids in any certain way, you can click on like whichever eyelid. I'm going to click on the lower one, and you could just grab these texture dots instead of using these blue lines here that we were using earlier. Instead of using this, we can just use the texture lines and just stretch the image out a little bit, only if you really need to. It's not really recommended because it kind of makes the image look all pixelated and weird, but I don't know, if you really need it, then use it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and open up our eye, close our eye. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the old way of doing it. Now the new way uses a clipping mask. So let's go ahead and do that. So to use this clipping mask, I'm going to go to basically this drawing here, the white of the eye. So eye left white is what I have it called. And see how it says clip ID here? And then you got IDs for each part over here. So putting these numbers on other parts clip IDs will essentially make that part mask the other part. Sounds a little confusing when it comes out of my mouth. So here I'm going to go back to Aleph White, and I'm going to copy this ID number, or this ID name. And then I'm going to go to the eyeball here, and I'm going to paste it in clip ID. And Live2D modeler's just giving me an important notice about clipping. It's still a new thing. It doesn't really work on everything right now. So after I paste it into clip ID, I'm gonna hit enter. And so when I go to my texture grid for that white part of the eye, as you can see, when I drag this down to deform the eye, the white of the eye, it doesn't deform the eyeball, and instead it just covers it. So now that we got our clipping mask in place, all we have to do is do the same thing with the eyelashes that we did on the other side. So I'm gonna go to left upper lash, and I'm gonna make my keyframes, add 2 keys, okay. Then I'm gonna make my big blue line here. I'm gonna go back to pointer, click on left upper lash again. I'm just gonna drag it down. Just everything the same that we did on the other side. Then I'm gonna take that eyeball and move it all the way towards the back of the drawing. So let's go all the way down here. And then I'm gonna go to my lower eyelash and then move that one too. If I can find it, there we go. Make my big blue line, pointer. Oops, we got a little too hasty there. Let's go to left lower lash again. And I'm gonna make some keyframes here. There, now I can move it. All right. So lastly, let's make keyframes for the white part of the eye here. So I'm gonna first make that line invisible. And I'm gonna go to the eye white here. There we go. And let's make keyframes for that. Add 2 keys. Okay. So when it's enclosed, I want everything to kind of be squished. So I'm just gonna kind of close in everything. Oh, I moved something. If you're having trouble like I am right now, accidentally clicking other parts, you can go and lock every other part that you're not working on so you don't accidentally move it, but that's optional for you if you want. Oops. Before I finish this, as you can see, I got part of this white little thing right here. This is just the glow of the eye. I just kind of left it in there without modifying it. So I'm just gonna make it disappear for now, just so it's not confusing anybody. There we go. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to shrinking my eyeball here. That's a weird thing to say out loud. Let's see. There we go. So there we go. We kind of shrank down everything. You won't see the eyeball if you did the clipping mask correctly. Even if you did accidentally switch it backwards, the whiteness of the eye would be gone. So you'll know immediately if you did it wrong or not. So let's test it out. Let's go open up our eye. And as you can see, it's working just fine. And we didn't have to use eyelids or anything. So you can see this is our turnout here. I just wanted to make everything visible and see how everything looked. For the old eye especially, because when I open and close it, I need to make sure that the eyelids still cover the white of the eye. Sometimes some whiteness might seep through and you could kind of see it right there. But for the other eye, the clipping mask one, you can see it pretty much turned out pretty good. So if I want to make it into a grid like I did with angle X and angle Y here in this list, I'm just going to go to, well, what I have to do is I have to make eye left open next to eye right open. As you can see, I got left eye smile in between it. So I'm going to click on set parameters and I'm going to click on left eye smile. And if you hit the down button over here, it'll move down the list. So now that they're together, I can hit OK. And then I'm just going to hit that blue outline rectangle. And now they're in a little grid. So I could just mess around with that all I want. So yeah, that's how you open and close the eyes. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.